Hey, everybody. OGG here, Overt Go Green. How's it going? Man, today I got a deck tech for you, but I got three questions for you before we get to it. One, how do you feel about green? Two, do you like stomping people? And three, you want to play the absolute new hotness in cards? If you said yes to those three questions, this deck is definitely for you. This is an update on mono green beats. Um, and the deck is ridiculously powerful. Um, at one drop, just to kind of go over this, at one drop, we got 3 Gilded Goose, a little bit of ramp, possible blocker against rogues, Stone Coil Serpent, protection from multicolored is unbelievably relevant, trample's relevant, reach is relevant. The counters, we'll talk about good things with counters in a second. Scavenging Ooze, still a great card. Really eats through those Aluris decks and Rogue decks that are still creeping around by eating their graveyard. Garrick's Harbinger, oft overlooked. A lot of black, mono black removal creeping into the format again, and hexproof from black is exceedingly relevant. 2 Khazanadu Mammoth. I've lowered this card in time. My expectations of this card have fallen. It's just not as good as I thought it'd be. But it's a land, and it could be a creature. Old Growth Troll, new card from Kaldheim. Green for a 4/4 trample. When Old Growth Troll dies, if it was a creature, put it on the battlefield. Return to the battlefield attached to a land, enchanting a land, and the land makes 2 green. So it ramps you when it dies. And then you can pay 1 and sack it, and you make a 4/4 green warrior creature, troll warrior creature token with trample. This card is super fabulous. The only reason it's not currently a 4 of is because there's a lot of benefits to having creatures with counters in this deck, and I'll explain why here in a second. But the ramp this guy provides is really incredible. Yorvo, Lord of Garenbrig, he enters the battlefield with 4+1/+1 counters. Whenever another creature enters that's green, he gets another +1/+1 counter. All this works extremely well. All these counter creatures work extremely well with Gem Razor. I have the alternate card art here for Ingurius, but his mutate, you can mutate on top of a creature with the counters, and this guy ends up being like a 7/7 and 8/8 trample reach, and it's a way for me to deal with artifacts and enchantments for a green 1. It's fabulous. Questing Beast needs no explanation. Fabulous for lots of reasons. We're going to come back to Garrick here in a second. Well, Garrick's a 4-mana planeswalker. Giving guys trample, incredibly relevant, and he has an ultimate that if it goes off, you win the game. I don't think I've ever lost when it's gone off. Elder Gargaroth is a 3 of, just a fabulous 5-drop, 6/6 vigilance, reach, trample, does all the stuff, demands an answer, runs away with the game. I put 2 Turn Timber Symbiosis. I have not used this card, but notice it does put counters on, so that's relevant to some things. And it's also a land. And, you know, with the life gain from Gilded Goose, Goose's Food, or from Scavenging Ooze's life gain, paying the 3 life for the land to come into play untapped is not that big of a deal. So we're playing 2 of these. And 2 Vorinclex, Monstrous Raider. In case you somehow haven't seen this card, it is green 4 for a 6/6 trample. Haste. Why do green creatures have haste? I thought that's crazy to me. And trample. And the key ability is right here is if you would put 1 or more counters on a permanent or player, put twice that many of each of those kind of counters on that permanent or player instead. This makes Scavenging Ooze, Stone Coil Serpent, Yorvo, all those cards that make counters just get out of control. Turn Timber Symbiosis just get out of control so much faster. For such a small mana investment, it's just bomb after bomb. And then if opponent would put one or more counters on a permanent or player, they put half that many on each of those counters, rounded down. This literally turns off every saga. It turns off every creature that puts a +1/+1 counter on somebody. So like, if you gain life, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. This puts 0 because it rounds down for some reason. It is so good. If they do not immediately remove Vorinclex, it's basically a runaway game. Vorinclex also makes Garruk come into play at 8, so he just immediately ultimates and is still on the battlefield, which is, I mean, it's just so ludicrous. I mean, it's so this card, I don't have it as a 4 of. Honestly, I mean, it is that good. It is that good. You resolve Vorinclex, and it just feels like you've automatically broken your opponent's back, unless they immediately deal with him. And the idea being, all these threats before Vorinclex, Questing Beast, Elder Gargaroth, Garruk's Harbinger, and Gurius onto Stone Coil or Yorvo, all those threats also need immediate dealing with, or they run away with the game. So you're just constantly pressuring your opponent, nonstop pressure, and you're hoping to wear them down and just beat them with just by continually smashing them. And if the game somehow does go long, you have Vorinclex into basically anything to really, really get out of hand. Land-wise, we have 4 Castle Garenbrig. The fact this gets you to Vorinclex 1 turn early is huge. So you do not underestimate that. And 15 Forest. We also have 2 Turn Timber Symbiosis and 2 Khazanadu Mammoth for 23 land total. I know that doesn't sound like a lot, but it's enough. It's enough. It gets the job done. So in the sideboard, this is an old sideboard I have not updated. However, we have some counter magic protection, Great Henge. I can't believe I could not find a place for this in the deck, but what would I take out for it? Like, it doesn't seem like I need to take anything out for it. I got some removal in here in Primal Might. I got Soul Guide Lantern for more graveyard hate. Ranger's Guile could be easily replaced with any other spell that gives a guy hexproof or indestructible or something that I don't play much best of 3 in Arena, but anything that would protect your creatures from removal heavy type decks. But yeah, this is the deck. Look for the gameplay video. Obviously, this is, as the channel says, you can just look. I think every card in here is either mythic or rare. Is that the case? Yeah. Every card is either mythic or rare. So this is not a budget-friendly deck. You know, I've been playing this deck nonstop since Eldraine, really. Maybe even before that. And, yeah, made some changes over time, adding cards, taking away cards, but this is the version right now that I have, and man, does it wreck face. Poof. So anyway, if you have any comments or suggestions, leave them down below. Even better, if you like the content or you'd like to make any suggestions for the future, just hit me a thumbs up and give me a sub, and I'll plug whatever deck you want me to try to play. All right, this is OGG out.